live. This meeting is being live streamed. Yes, we know, because we've just been talking about it. Right, it's doing its thing. Facebook is coming over here while all the technology connects. Who knows? People might be listening. Maybe I'll edit this bit out. We were just talking about podcasts. There we go. So we are live in the group. I'll just, there we go. Yes, so they can hear that. It's cool. So I've got the live stream happening over here. Awesome. Right, so we're going live. It's been a while since we've been live streaming into the group. That's just because I've been a bit rubbish and I've been really busy. So yeah, apologies for not fulfilling promises of live streaming in the group, and also getting podcasts out. But we are making up for my poor ability to structure my life and organize podcasts in amongst all the amazing client work we're doing. And we have got the amazing Becks Smith with us today from The Whole Story to have a bit of a yarn and see what she's up to. So kia ora, Becks. How's it going?
Kia ora koutou, everyone. Hi, I'm Becks Smith. I'm good. It's sunny today, so I'm enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, we were just saying before we clicked the live button. So you're working on a farm, where you live and are working as a farmer, but you also enjoy skiing. And we've just had some pretty cold, awful, snowy weather if you're a farmer, but if you're a skier like me in the background, hoping to go tomorrow, it's been a great couple of days. So yeah, it's tough, but yeah,
it's such a tension. I like torn between the cold. Yeah, love to play in it. I'd hate to work in it.
I don't think anyone likes to work in the snow, but well, perhaps maybe ski instructors, obviously. But anyway, yeah. So we start off by asking the obvious question, Becks, who are you, and what do you do other than being a farmer and a skier?
Yeah, so thanks, Tim. I am a farmer, so we've got 700 hectares sheep, beef and deer farm here in central Otago. I'm also a mum. I've got 3 beautiful wee girls. Ash is 1, Emerson's almost 5, and Millie is 6. So yeah, we're raising our 3 kids on the farm. I'm also a vet. I've been working here in Ranfurly for 13 years now, and in June 2020, I started a social enterprise, now B Corp certified, called The Whole Story, which is focused on inspiring sustainability in agriculture.
Wow. And on Tuesdays, you
ski.
Yeah, Tuesdays you ski. I mean, it sounds like you've got quite a bit on your plate. Like, how do you fit all that stuff in? Are you just one of those superhuman people that does crazy stuff? Clearly,
crazy is the optimal word there. I think it's kind of organized chaos. Like, it's or not organized, and you just run with the chaos, and it happens anyway.
Yeah, disorganized chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as everyone's like alive at the end of the day and dead, hopefully at some point, then we're all good. Yeah, it's really like, it's kind of, I've got a big thing on just being where your feet are. So you know, whatever you're doing, whatever you're passionate about at the time, just be there, get it done, move on to the next thing. I kind of like exciting stuff, so I keep getting different things coming in and out of my life, but I kind of can't ditch anything because I love them all so much. So
I hear you on that one. I think we were just sort of talking before we went live. We're pretty similar personality types in that regard. It's like kind of just say yes and then work it out.
Yeah. Yes, and wing it, definitely.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, off the cuff is definitely a personal motto. I should probably get that. I should probably get tattooed around the cuff. That'd be quite cool. Yeah, just off the cuff. It'd be fine. It'll be fine. So, did you come from a farming background originally?
No, not at all. So I am from Hamilton. I was born in Hamilton, actually, which not many people know. Yeah. And then
big expose already on the podcast.
Yeah, spent the 5 years of my life there, and then moved to Papua New Guinea. So also so not from a farming background at all, but I come from a really outdoorsy family. So we've always kind of loved getting out in nature and tramping and climbing. And I wanted to be a vet from a really young age. My uncle's a vet, so I thought I'd go into like small animal vet work or maybe horses. I've always loved horses.
Well, not small horses.
like
like
big
a real
horses
niche.
or small horses, like, you know.
Shetland ponies. I'm a Shetland
Yeah.
pony vet. Don't do anything else. Just Shetland ponies.
That's just me, essentially. And so I kind of like always wanted to be a vet. And then my best friend during high school was a boarder and had a farm here in Central Otago. And I used to spend my school holidays rocking up here and helping her out on the farm. And I just, that combination of loving the land and the animals and kind of putting it all together really made sense to me. I didn't want to do anything else after that.
Nice. What a crazy idea. Do what you like doing and feel that you're kind of good at it. Yeah. Well, might catch on. Just careful. It's like easy now, Becks. You know, all these crazy ideas you're putting out here already. No, that's super cool. So you sort of, that was your plan really from school, was like just go and do veterinary, get on it, and you did all that. That was all pretty easy, plain sailing. You felt like it was all what you were meant to be doing.
Yeah, nailed that. Like just finished school, went straight up to uni, did the 5 years vet school and came out as a mixed practitioner vet, but with a large animal focus. So working, I always wanted to work in a rural community, and I really liked the sheep, beef and deer work. So I kind of had two places I wanted to come, and like Ranfurly was one and Marlborough was the other.
Nice.
And I got a job here, started as a new grad and married a farmer and haven't left.
They trapped you. It was all part of their cutting plan.
It did. It's a community plan, I tell you.
Nice. And so I'm intrigued to learn a little bit more about PNG. What was that like? How long were you in Papua New Guinea for?
Yeah, so there for 5 or 6 years, somewhere around that. I came back for like the end of my, my intermediate schooling. So I did most of my primary schooling over there, and it was amazing. So Dad worked for the Electricity Commission over there, and my stepmom worked for the British High Commission. So it was an idyllic childhood. We lived in a compound, but you were living in with your mates all the time, playing after school in a super safe compound with a playground, and we had a yacht, so the weekends we'd spend out on different islands just snorkeling, swimming. I know, it's awful, terrible. It was really, really cool. It definitely sparked my passion for sort of adventure and
I bet.
Pushing the limits in your comfort zones, really.
Wow. Yeah, your kids got no hope, have they? It's like this is my benchmark for childhood, and most parents want to make their kids' lives a little bit, more fun than theirs. So man, that's going to be lucky kids, man. Yeah.
To be fair, growing up on a farm brings a whole nother different set of like idyllic childhood kind of thing. So
like
it's
bucolic.
completely different, but it's pretty special as well.
Yeah. Super cool. So you got down to Ranfurly, and so you've been a vet. You're sort of active as a vet in Ranfurly, and you're still doing some veterinary stuff, or so you did a few years doing the veterinary stuff, and then you started to have some other ideas, or how did you end up, like, you're doing all this stuff? What was the sort of sequence of events, or did it all just sort of happen at once?
So through the vet work, I found I had this real interest in leadership and more personal development. And the deeper I dug into values and purpose and who I was as a person, I knew, like, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Like what I was doing and what I am doing, I still work as a vet in the evenings and weekends. So that's real purpose work, right? Like you're making a difference to people's farming operations, to animals' lives, to small animal pet owners and their animals. So you are genuinely making a difference every single day, and saving lives is pretty big purpose work. But I felt like, yes, I could do that, but also I had more to give. And I don't know where I got the sense of I had more, but there was definitely a way to marry some other core values in my life with my skill set from veterinary work and actually create something bigger of my own to have positive impact. So it was really through my just finding out more about myself and knowing who you are and your value set, and kind of working through how can you best live out your value set to serve others.
You pretty much nailed purpose. That's kind of it. The definition of purpose that I work with is, well, if you look at the dictionary definition of purpose, it's essentially the reason for which something was made or created, and the contribution that something makes. And really, that is the key to purpose, is like be the truest version of you, making the biggest contribution that you can make. And it seems to be that you've connected to that quite quickly, and potentially from like even having that sense of purpose and like I just want to be a vet because it feels like it's me. I mean, did you have that kind of underlying sense that you were, it is kind of helping save lives and livelihoods? Was that early on, or was it just kind of like, veterinary, being a vet sounds kind of cool, like get to hang out, do stuff with animals, and learn some cool stuff?
It was from early on. I remember moments going in with my uncle into his veterinary clinic and working with him and just seeing the impact that his work had on the animals and the people. And I think it was watching the positive impact he had. I mean, he's an exceptional vet, and he just positively impacted so many people. He lit up their lives, and he, whether it was really small things that weren't actually like life-changing for the animals, but even the conversations he had with the people. And I think it was that real inspiration. And then like there's a massive dopamine hit you get from actually saving a life and in that moment. And that's pretty addictive in itself. So if you can get a bit of that and do good at the same time, then as you say, like it's all about that contribution. But it was about, this isn't just the only contribution I can bring to the world, and it's not. It is a good contribution, but it's not necessarily all I have to give or the best contribution fit for me.
Nice. And so you it sounds like you've done a good amount of personal development work through like through specific programs, or just general like going down internet rabbit hole research type stuff. Like how do you do your personal development, or how have you done it to date?
So I am a bit of a personal development junkie.
Nice.
It's, how have I done it? I'm more of a course kind of person. Like I love, the rabbit hole doesn't get me so far, but actually the accountability of being in a group or on a course keeps me going. I've worked with a lot of different mentors as well throughout kind of, I guess, my personal and professional life that have kind of kept me accountable as well to different bits and pieces. I'm a real big advocate for, there's a thing in the agricultural sector called the Agri-Women's Development Trust, and they're all about developing rural women and their leadership qualities. And I've done a couple of their courses, and their escalator program was really like pivotal for me for just really like, their thing is about how knowing who you are is how you lead.
100%. And it's you can kind of I like, well, as people may well know, if you've listened to more than one of these, so my degree was in medieval history, and I just really love ancient philosophy, like stuff that we kind of don't really know why they knew it and how they knew it, but they did know it and they wrote it down, and it's stuff that's kind of coming full circle. And I'm pretty sure it was Socrates or Aristotle. We'll fact check it and put a link. But one of the key phrases from that sort of Greek philosophy was "know thyself," and it's such a fundamental idea, but it's the scariest thing that people can go and do, which is why a lot of people don't connect to their true purpose, because they don't want to go in and think about who they really are, and well, why do I behave like this, and actually I am a bit like my mum, or I am a bit like my dad, and I don't like that because I don't like that in my mum or my dad. And that's the hard part of the purpose journey. But it seems like you're one of those rarer individuals who seems to have had that early connection to a real deep understanding of who you are and what you want to do, and you've been on that path, whereas I think it's less common. I think most people are kind of afraid of connecting to that.
And the earlier you train yourself to do that hard work too, and then see the rewards, like it's like the Pavlov's dog experiment. Like you actually, like, I know that the pain and the hard work of digging deep brings rewards, so you kind of you get more comfortable with the uncomfortable, and you know that pushing through will actually dig some real gems and good results. And I think the earlier you learn that, the more it becomes a habit, and you're happier to keep pushing yourself into that space.
Totally. And within that there is a sense of meaning and purpose by overcoming a challenging mental obstacle, or even a physical obstacle, doing hard physical work to become a better version of you. I think that that there is, once you connect to that and you understand that for me is a key part of human development, and recognizing that if you can undertake particularly challenging mental work on yourself, it breeds a really high level of general resilience. And I think I just don't see that. I think that's one of the big things we're not taught in school. You're not really, it's kind of like it's just not on the curriculum. Like you just don't get it. Was there anything from parental input that you think, were they pushing you to do stuff, or do you think it's just Becks, that's just how you were made, that you were more open and receptive to this?
Definitely, I think like my dad's an exceptional kind of mentor for me. His motto when we were younger was kind of always do what others expect of you and more.
Nice.
Now that can serve you, and it cannot serve you as well, because you become a super overachiever, right? So like when you do that digging deep, like that for me has brought up quite a lot of stuff, because that pushes me mentally in my head to actually never have achieved enough. But
right, it's never
as a manager in his career and stuff, is he always role modeled that hard work gets results, and kind of pushing the boundaries on challenging yourself and rising to challenge. Like challenge for me is a core value, so it's kind of interesting to bring that up, because it's I almost have a handicap start on that, because it's core to me, so it's easier to go into challenge. But Dad definitely, like he pushed us to kind of always be the best version of ourselves. Like
you say, it is a double-edged sword in that regard. It's kind of like, have I done enough? But at the same time, you've got to know that if you've given it everything, you've done enough. Whether the result was kind of what you really wanted or fully expected, as long as you've actually done, do a quick check and go, I did do everything that I could do. It's interesting, because I have a similar mindset and approach to, like, everything is a challenge, everything's surmountable as far as I'm concerned. It's just, you have to want it enough, and if you want it enough, you'll find a way. And if genuinely you can't find a way, then there probably isn't a way. And that really frustrates some of the people in this household.
It's that learner's mindset too, right? Like it's
like growth mindset.
Like it's like you can grow, you can learn. Like it's just because I don't know it, I just don't know it yet.
Exactly that. And I think, it's interesting. Just overwhelming positivity and resilience, and a desire just not to stop until someone actually says, no, you kind of need to stop. Which, again, sometimes it has good and bad things, because in a business context, you can sort of start going down a track, and you don't want to give up, because it's like, well, if I just do. But I don't know, I think in general, the number of times in my life when, it's like, just do that one extra step, because you just don't know. And suddenly that extra step takes you out of the rain cloud, and it's beautiful sunshine and there's a big rainbow, and you go, okay, I just needed that one extra step. But I guess, is it one, or is it 10, or is it 100 extra ones? And I guess that's life experience teaches you. Possibly this horse has been flogged a few times.
I think it's like that self-awareness as well. Like when you're aware of it in yourself, you can choose to dial it up or dial it down. So you know when to put that into play, and you know when to sit back and kind of talk to yourself and go like come on, Becks, like rein it in, like just settle down. Sit down for a minute.
Very good. So you're doing your veterinary, you're doing a ton of personal development work, and you start seeing that there's this calling for you, which again, I think very similar journeys. Like when I started my business, it's like, look, we're doing some pretty cool stuff. I started out mainly doing sales training for other B Corps, and business is doing good. And then I just felt, actually, you know what, this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. This helping people get on that purpose journey, getting more people to think about B Corp. I think there's more that I can do here. And again, I think that's partly the muscle. If you use the muscle, you kind of get into that state of kind of like doing veterinary stuff. It's kind of cool, but I want to use, I guess you're also using different mental muscles, sort of veterinary versus personal development and human development, which is kind of what you're now into. So you're sort of having this moment. And so what was the first step you took, and what was the kind of initial, you feel like, I'm curious, I want to do more, but what was that process or journey like what was the first thing you did?
I think I'm trying to think what actually came first, and I think it was actually sitting down and working through the Ikigai model. And so going through that, and then it was starting to look at what did the world need. And I came back to sort of two real lived challenges that I was facing and pain points that I was seeing like every single day. And so two pain points that were affecting me directly were that the environment, well, like that sustainability in agriculture was becoming synonymous with environment, and that people and businesses, communities, animals, and everything else were being left behind because we were becoming so narrow focused on this one word being synonymous with environment. And although the environment is crucial to our existence and we're so passionate about doing good, we have to keep everything in balance. Otherwise, we're just going to, tip it all on kilter and not going to achieve anything. And so that was a real pain point for me. But also the fact that I was watching my husband and my father-in-law out there working really, really hard on the farm every single day. Like, it's a full-time job and some. And then they were coming home at night and having to kind of sit down with old Dr. Google and figure out, okay, right, so, it's sustainability initiatives. This is what I should be doing. How do I do it? Who's the right person to help me? Like, the connection between, farmers are deeply passionate about the land that they live and work on and work alongside. And their ability to actually get things done is exceptional because they're out there doing it every day.
Yep.
But there was a real disconnect between the how in the middle. And so with the strengths, and this is where the Ikigai model came in for me, is from my strengths, background, and experience, what could I bring to kind of provide solutions to those two problems? And that's where the whole story was born, just in that real need to solve those challenges that I was faced with.
Nice. So for those of you who aren't aware, there we go, look at this, through the magic of technology. Hopefully this is working and you can actually see it. I'll find out in a second on my other screen over here. So this is what the model of Ikigai looks like, which is the Japanese word for reason for being, or phrase for, reason for being. There we go. Yeah, it is showing up on the other screen. Fantastic. Look at that. Technology wins. So I'll put a link, or I'll, if you're watching it in the group, it's in the group, and I'll put the picture in the group. So if you're one of our clients, where we, in our Be Better community, this is being live streamed into that group. If you're listening to this as a podcast separately, I'll endeavor to make sure I put a link up to this picture of Ikigai, just so that, if you're not sure what it is. But yeah, as Becks was sort of saying, it's this kind of model of trying to work out what are you good at, what can earn you money, what do you love doing, and does the world need it? And kind of in the middle of that is this sweet spot of your Ikigai, or your purpose, or your dream job, or your true vocation. And vocation is an interesting word because it comes from the Latin vocale, which means to call. So if something is, which is interesting because you kind of hear people go, oh, it's vocational training. That sounds rubbish. That's not a proper degree. It's like, well, no, vocational means it's your calling. It's like, I've been called to do this. There you go. Really cool. So, and was Ikigai something that you were made aware of through like the personal development work that you were doing through the programs, or did you just sort of stumble across that? Because Ikigai is one of those things, like a lot of people, it's like 50-50. Some people are like, what? Iki who? And other people are like, oh, Ikigai, yeah, obviously. Yes. How did you sort of come across that as a model?
I can't even remember. I think potentially, I'm not sure whether you and Kath talked about it in
entrepreneurial women with purpose. Well, there we go. Woohoo for the win.
Workshop I went to with you, Tim, was potentially where I first heard about it, and the homework I did after that was, that was in the very formative stages of, that was during one of the lockdowns, I feel. Or around that time, and like I was just making bread, and here I was doing my Ikigai, like, right?
Actually, I think you were right, because you remember Kath had to shout out to Catherine van der Meulen, who is just an amazing human, who as a small aside, like, she came from Australia, landed in New Zealand, and then it felt like within 2 days had just like dominated this whole entrepreneurial women with purpose event thing concept, and it just like roped in people. And because she's an amazing human who genuinely cares and has got just really good approach to life, she just like built this thing. And then she's like, I can't remember how we got connected. She's like, hey, can you come and help me? I'm looking for some content for this thing. I'm like, sure, purpose, I'm all over it. And then next minute she had these it was going to be live events in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, and then suddenly it's like, they think we can do live events. It's like, how about we just go online?
That's cool, exactly it. Actually, I won a ticket to one of the live events. That's how it happened. I saw a post on social media, entered a competition, won a ticket to go to the Christchurch one. Boom. Couldn't go, but did it online. And it's actually funny how Kath and entrepreneurial with women with purpose has become so interwoven into my business and the whole story.
Nice.
Because it's actually one of her podcasts that inspired a lot of the work that I do. So yeah,
There you go.
it's basically
Well,
how
look at
these things
that.
work. Yeah,
Shout
you
out
and Kat
to
does.
Kath. There we
Yeah.
go. Super cool. So I guess, yeah, just backing up the truck a little bit on the whole farming thing, you know, us city folk, you know, what do we know with our polluting cars and our, you know, highfalutin ways doing our thing? And then there's, you know, you poor gritty farmers trying to do what you do, but then half the city folk going, yeah, but you bloody farmers with your bloody fertilizers and destroying the planet and boo. It just seems to be one of those classic modern issues where we just want you to take a side and we're just going to keep throwing rocks at each other, when clearly it is way more nuanced than that. And sure, there are going to be some really shitty farmers doing some bad stuff, just like there are really shitty people in the city, you know, doing bad stuff. So it kind of would seem logical that the majority of farmers actually do care about the land that they've got, and it's intergenerational, and like they're trying to do the best that they can. So yeah, any thoughts or commentary? I mean, clearly I would imagine you're probably pro farming on not that we're trying to make it pro or anti, but yeah, you know, it's hard yakka. It's, you know, you're out there doing it.
Yeah, and I think it is really interesting. You talk about that divide and that kind of, like, I think every time there's a label on something, if it's not who you are, then you assume you are not. And so then it's really hard to, you know, there's a big compare and contrast kind of thing. But I think, you know, everyone out there in the world kind of has to just do a little bit better. I don't think there's anyone perfect. So I think that farmers, urban hybrids like me, I come from an urban background, so I'm like a hybrid farmer, urbanite. So I think
a Furbanite.
A Furbanite.
It sounds like a kid's toy, like a Furby. Hi, I'm a Furbanite.
Do you know, like, I think it's, everyone is just, we all have the opportunity to do a little bit better, and we all have a responsibility to find the people who can help us be a little bit better or do a little bit better, and I want to be one of those people that helps farmers do better. And also, who, you know, it's really hard, it's quite doomsday at the moment. There's a whole lot of like negativity around climate change, around our responsibilities and our impacts, and I think it's actually really hard, and there's heaps of science that proves this. It's really hard to innovate in the space of like a defensive mindset, a negative mindset. And so we need to lift people out of negativity and into inspiration and positivity to actually face the world's wicked problems. And farming, it's really interesting. Like, we cop a lot of flack for being, you know, part of the problem. But actually, we have the biggest opportunity to be part of the solution, because we have massive land holding that can actually be part of the solution to this wicked problem. So if we can put farmers in a positive mindset and inspire them and not be so like hard on them all the time, rural mental health is a real issue. I mean, farmers are feeling the brunt of it at the moment, and if they're in a depressive mindset or a negative mindset, they're not going to rise to the challenge to actually be part of the solution and look for those opportunities, because they actually can't if they don't have that white space. So, like, I implore everybody out there to, like, give a farmer a pat on the back, help them rise into that space of positivity, because they actually, like, New Zealand farming has the opportunity to be like part of the solution. So we should support. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a rural environment, so, you know, not in a farming family, but in a small village that, you know, our next door neighbor was Jim the farmer, and he would come home in his tractor and, you know, he'd be off in the fields. And I was like really, sort of captured by this idea of being a farmer when I was a kid, but I didn't follow it through. I did work on a farm after school before I went to uni for the summer, and that was quite cool. I think I kind of probably got it out of my system. 6 months was enough for me, because I realized how I had hay fever as a teen, like really bad hay fever as a teenager. And one of the jobs I had was basically stacking hay bales in the barn. And if you can imagine, for those of you who don't believe this, but the UK, you know, Britain does actually get some hot summers. And it would have been like high 20s outside, but in a hay barn with a tin roof, it's possibly 40, 50 degrees plus at the top of it. And my eyes would just be streaming. And I was just sneezing into the hay bales, trying to stack them and get them. Yeah, so I think that was kind of like, yeah, I think I've done my farming gig here. Like, I think I've got that out of the system.
Put anyone off, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, I think I've got a level of empathy and some understanding of the challenges of what it's like. But I don't think a lot of people truly understand, like I say, how hard a lot of the rural community, like just how hard life is. It's like you say, it's been snowing this week. Well, you've still got to get out there. Like I can kind of like this is how protected I am in the city. Like on what was it? We're Friday today. So yesterday I had a whole bunch of meetings in town, and I don't normally get into town very much because I just try and keep it all on Zoom because I'm a bit lazy, and I just like working from home, take dog for a walk. And on Wednesday night, I was like, oh, I might have to reschedule my meetings if there's a bit of snow and it's a bit tricky. Like I have the luxury of maybe doing that, whereas you can't go, hey, can someone just have a chat to the cows and just let them know that we're going to be late coming out tomorrow morning because it's a little bit chilly?
Yeah, and my husband and I were actually just talking about this the other day, in that like we're in the middle of spring at the moment. Obviously, it's we've had some pretty bad weather, but this was sort of before all that. But even in spring, it's so busy, and we were out. It was a late night. We were out helping carve a cow, and then I've got a lamb rearing system, so I was out feeding lambs and things like that. And it was like 11 o'clock at night, and Jason went inside after carving the cow, and I was still out, and I just had one sick lamb, and I was trying to sort of look after that. And you're crying because you're tired and you're cold, and it's hard work, and you're exhausted. Like I've got 3 kids as well, so this is after they've all gone to bed. I'm out there doing things.
The kids are just feral somewhere around the farm, riding the tractors around.
Yeah, and it was that moment where I was just like, I wish people who flippantly say that farmers don't care could see right now broken we are with caring. How much these individual animals we're working with out here, like that we genuinely care. And so it's like, it was just kind of one of those classic moments where I just wish you could see how much we care and how hard it is sometimes. I mean, it painted a glamorous picture when you see, the sun out and the green field and everything happy. But that's not the reality all the time. And sometimes it's just really hard work. And I haven't been inside before 10 o'clock for the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
So,
and like you say, it starts again tomorrow morning at some ungodly hour. It's not like, oh, it's okay. We've had, if I have a late night with a Zoom call with someone in the US or the UK or whatever, it's like, I can maybe have a bit of a lie-in in the morning or, take the dog for a later walk. But you don't get that luxury. Yeah.
No, kids don't either. So I think yesterday, like 6 layers of clothes. I was like, my hands were red raw from the cold wind, and I was like crying because of the pain.
Icicles coming out of your eyes.
Yeah, and the kids are the same. They're out like in jackets and they're out working on the farm too. It's school holidays, where I can't just leave them, so they've got to come along with us, and they learn the values of hard work early. And that can't be a bad thing, right? But it's certainly not. It's not all glamorous. It's
I think that's what rural communities still have, that connection to like hard work. It's like life is hard. It's tough. Sometimes it's brutal. Like just it's going to happen again tomorrow. So kind of you just have to deal with it. And again, I think we've, if you want to look on the really long time scale, we in us city folk, again, it's like we live very protected. Oh, it's a bit colder, like, oh, we'll leave the heating on all night then, because we don't want to get a little bit chilly overnight. Well, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, deal with it. You're going to be cold, and I think we miss out on that lack of hardship. And I think that's again perhaps where circling back to the mental hardship, like doing hard things. I historically have done stupid things, like I'll just go and run a marathon having done no training. It's like, well, how hard can it be? It's just running for a little bit longer than I've run before. Doing stupid things like that when you're a bit younger. I think I've always done stupid starting a business. That was fairly foolhardy. Back in the day, it's like, well, how hard can it be? Just start a business. I think we miss having that connection. I don't think we understand how much we miss by not having that hardship. And it's like, it's going to be tough, but there's no one else to do it. So you just have to come out and do it, kids. And,
And I mean, the lows are low, but the highs are also amazing too. We're talking about the moment spring. So we're starting to see, all of the fruits of our labor and our hard work throughout the year hitting the ground with our beautiful baby lambs and baby calves. And,
nice.
and it's, do you know what, like that feeling, knowing that we're producing something that is going to deliver high quality protein in a protein deficient world is, and we're doing it the best way that we know how and that we can. Do you know that sense of pride, and that is really, really strong. And it's pretty cool to see things work out and to sort of achieve those goals. And it feels good when you see the results.
Nice. But like you say, and I guess that's that's why we call our client group Be Better. You don't want to just rest on your laurels. And so you were saying your husband and your father-in-law, like, trying to get the head around, like, what is this thing? We're doing as much as we can. We're trying to be better, but it's hard. So that's kind of like the backstory or the creation myth story for the whole story. So so you saw this, and then what happened next?
So then I just kind of played around with what were my strengths and how could I, like, what would be useful, what would actually like help get gains. And I listened to, as I said, one of the Entrepreneurial Women with Purpose podcasts, where Kath spoke to Bridget Williams from Beat and Proceed. And her speaking about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, like, it was like I'd been hit by a bus. Honestly, like, I was like, how did I'd heard of them, but I didn't really understand or know or connect. And the way she spoke connected me with the goals. And then I went, why are we not singing this from the rooftops? This should be something. And this is a way that we can look at sustainability from a much more holistic sense, and actually, extend, like, recognize what we're doing, tell our story to the world, and set goals so that we can actually achieve a sustainable future. And I think just being able to use that framework, and then I kind of, I guess, built a business around how we use that framework to inspire holistic sustainability in agriculture. So that's done through, there's a whole lot of different channels. And I think that was the coolest thing about building a business with a purpose, and a very clear purpose, is the actual how or the what didn't matter so much, as long as it achieved the why. And that's been really fun. So, because it changes all the time, and people go, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, well, there's kind of 3 buckets that fits into, but it changes, and I'm open to opportunity because we've got a clear purpose. How we get there is kind of flexing.
And that to me is everything. It's like, if you have that that overarching sense of purpose and knowing what you're trying to achieve, the rest of it, you'll find your way, and that sense of resilience and optimism. And I'm just going to keep going, because what I want and what I need to achieve is so needed, and it has that meaning for me, and it is going to help create better outcomes for not just potentially your farm, but New Zealand farms, and then maybe even beyond that. That's the shit that keeps you going. That I think again, it's sad that the vast majority of people have no idea what that feels like.
And it's that, like, I do, and I check in frequently. Sometimes you get, you know what it's like with business, sometimes you get kind of caught up in the chaos, and you go, like, every now and again, I just have to check myself and go, is what I'm doing, proposing, dreaming here actually going to serve the people that I'm trying to serve? And I think that's the biggest soul connection piece for me. Is, it's not, is this going to serve me or my business? It's is this going to serve the community? And that for me it's so grounding. Like, it's so grounding. Keep connecting with, is this serving the people that I set this up to serve?
100%. And we're exactly the same here. Jess, she's been really useful for me for the last year. She's been hanging out with me for about a year now, or even a bit more. I think we worked out the other day. Just like, well, we come up with ideas, and it's like, but who cares? It's like, it's one of those, probably, well, is it overused? I don't know. There was that a book called Does It Make the Boat Go Faster? That was written all about the British Olympic squad. Must have been for the late 90s or early 2000s even, where basically the whole ethos was, we could implement that, but how does it make the rowboat go faster to get us a gold medal? And if it didn't make the boat go faster, well, then we don't need to worry about it. And I think it's kind of the same, now. I think for me, now that business is a bit stronger, it's been here a bit longer, B Corp's becoming more of a thing. We've kind of got more of a baseline, which means we can now start tinkering, like, even like creating this community. It's kind of like, well, hopefully it's useful. Hopefully this podcast is useful. Hopefully it will talk about your podcast. Like it's like you say, it's not it. But I think this is the middle ground and purpose, because you enjoy doing a podcast. I enjoy doing a podcast. So I'm getting some enjoyment out of this, but I'm also hopefully showcasing your awesome mahi. And hopefully we're going to inspire someone in the group or someone who's going to listen to this, maybe in 10 years time, to go, I can go and do that. And that is the sweet spot of purpose. It's like, it's fulfilling you whilst also helping fulfill something bigger than you. So yeah, it's really, really cool. So what, yeah, so you kind of just started tinkering. So when did the whole story kind of actually start, and what does, I guess, what is it you do today? Like, what does the typical day look like, or the typical thing that you're doing with the whole story? And yeah, has that kind of morphed from where you did start out? Have you had any changes, or did you pretty much nail it first time into, right, we're going to do this and we're still doing that? Or is it still?
Always a big spider web, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
it started out, so I actually officially launched in June 2020. So I'd actually become a finalist for the Xander McDonald's Award, which is a sort of young, innovative leaders within agriculture in New Zealand and Australia. I'd become a finalist for that. And as part of that application, I'd kind of talked about this, the whole story that this and this idea, and all of a sudden I was a finalist, and so it was going to become like really public really quickly. So I was like squirreling away at night trying to get the website up and going, because I was like, oh, we've really got to get this launched. So yeah, got that across the line, got a massive amount of opportunity for feedback, for kind of clarifying what it was that I was trying to achieve and how I was going to achieve it in the short term around that awards process. So that was really cool. And initially what we've set out to do, and what I'm still doing, is it's got 3 buckets of work. So the first kind of bucket is the one-to-one work. So I work with individual farming clients on their sustainability journey, and I guess using a tailored sort of framework that's kind of bespoke to their farm, and working through that with them. The second bucket is the one-to-many sort of delivery model. So doing workshops, and what wasn't in the original plan, and you touched on before, was the podcast series, but that now falls in that bucket too. Hadn't even thought of it, but it definitely serves the why, and is something that I'm really enjoying doing. And then the third bucket of work is kind of I call it sort of behind the scenes section, which is governance, industry advocacy, and sort of representation there, where I'm kind of working in different research projects, facilitating research that serve this space, governance roles and industry roles. So 3 buckets to kind of put it into. But yeah, that at the moment is how it's falling out.
Nice. And how's it been going? Like, you're getting some wins, making some changes, or is it, I guess, with the farming sector in general, there could be some might be longer term before you get really big outcomes, or what's the general results been?
Yeah, really good. So one of my biggest kind of drivers is making sure that I provide tangible and practical solutions that people can actually implement straight away, not just...
What a crazy idea.
I know, not just talking about big picture stuff around sustainability and agriculture, but hey, look, this is actually like these, and it's about connecting people. So I don't want to reinvent any wheels. We have amazing rural professionals doing awesome stuff in our sector. It's that finding solutions. It's actually connecting people with someone who can help. I don't need to be doing this for you, but I know the person who can, and I'll connect you with them, and you can make that happen together, because I can't hold all the information required to drive all of these sustainability outcomes, but I am really good at connecting the right people together. And so we're getting some wins, we're getting connections, we're getting inspiration, and social media is kind of a game changer, and people are picking up what I'm throwing down. And I try to put some stuff on there every week that's kind of just, like, there's something you can do on farm that takes a very small step, but it's a series of small steps that make up giant quantum leaps in sustainability. So you don't have to see what the end picture looks like, just take that first step, and here is where you need to go to do agri-plastic recycling, or this is an opportunity for how we can grow and educate our people on farm. Like, that's kind of like little tangible take homes, and that's a big thing about what the podcast has been delivering too.
Is there like one main big thing that like most people can do? Is it like really specific to the type of farming that you're doing in the region, or is there like one, if there happens to be a farmer who tunes into this podcast, farmers probably perhaps not our core audience, who knows, let me know if we need to go deeper into farming. But yeah, is there like one big area that makes the biggest win for most people?
I think the biggest win is mindset shift.
Yep.
The shift around getting excited about sustainability, not scared of it. It's become really, really compliance and regulatory heavy. Whereas if we can actually go, hang on, let's not just meet regulations or deal with compliance. Let's try and shift people into thinking, hey, sustainability is really exciting and these are our opportunities.
Yep.
And that mindset shift is the biggest win, and probably like almost the hardest as well. Changing
100%.
your mind thing is a real challenge, but that is what I've been seeing as the biggest impact that I'm having, is actually people, that penny drop where they go, hang on, this is really exciting, and here are some things I can do. And once once you're excited about something, you're more motivated to go and do it. So just inspiration and excitement is the biggest thing that
it's the key. Yeah, and that was a big part of my journey. Like when I had my kind of exit from the corporate world, and it's like, you are all just greedy assholes who just want to destroy the planet and make as much money, and you don't care about society, community, or even the humans in your business. That was kind of my final experiences of the corporate world. You come out of that and you are quite angry, and it's almost like the grief process. You kind of like, you're in denial, then you get angry, and you kind of go through that process. And that was a big learning. Michael Philpott, good mate of mine, like he was like, mate, all your content's angry. Like no one wants to hang out with angry people. And it's like, yeah, but god damn it, like these people should be, everyone should be angry. And it's like, yeah, you don't. And it took, it takes you a while to kind of get through that. But you're 100% right, and that's what we try and bring, is just like I say, overwhelming force of positivity. That it's kind of like the example, the analogy I sort of use is, you need to be having the best party on the street, so that people look and go, well, what's happening on Becks's farm? I don't know. Well, let's go and check it out, because like the music sounds really good and everyone's got drinks and they're having a great old time. And it's like, well, yeah, we're at sustainability party. This is where it's at, people. And it's like, okay, well, that does look more fun than what I've been doing. So how do I get into this? And I think that's been a big part of it for me. And then I'll just share this. Look at it, I'm getting all over the sharing stuff today. This is, I don't know if have you come across this. It's called the Dunphy model of sustainability adaptation. Shout out to Tim Loftus from New Zealand Merino for introducing this one to me. But this is the classic thing. You kind of start off with rejecting the idea of sustainability. It's compliance based. It's kind of like, I'm actively not going to do this, even though it might be better for me, because I just don't like how you've told me to do this, or what have you. And then people might move to like, okay, well, I'm just going to ignore you rather than actively rejecting it. And then it becomes that sort of compliance. But then you kind of go, actually, having just done that, I see that there's a benefit to it. Okay, you've kind of got me now. I'm like, okay, I'm maybe slightly intrigued. And then suddenly it becomes, actually, we're getting a benefit from this. We need to do more of this. And then actually, purpose and impact just become strategy. And that's what we lead with. And the example Tim talks about from his experience was having worked for REI, like the big outdoor clothing retailer in the US. He was pretty close with the team at Patagonia. And then he led the B Corp journey at Kathmandu. And he's got some really interesting insights to how, he sort of talks about how the senior leadership were perhaps slightly resistant to the idea of sustainability. But when he sat down with the CFO and said, okay, what about efficiency? How much are we spending on lighting our stores? And the guy's like, I don't know. He's like, well, I know. And I know that we can reduce it by whatever factor by switching out to LEDs when we can. So he was selling the sustainability impact through an efficiency impact, because people understood efficiency. And I think, meeting people where they are, getting them, and again, it's like, doing good is contagious. Once you've done some good, it feels good. Oh, wow. And actually that was quite easy. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can do the next one. So no, I think you're 100% on the right track. Well, clearly you are, because you're getting some wins and you're enjoying it and you're going gangbusters. So yeah, life's all good.
Yeah. And I think it's that, like if people, it's exactly what you talk about, talking about efficiency. And we talk about like actually having like happy, well looked after staff on farm. you know, like the cost involved in recruitment and like finding farm staff and at the moment is like finding staff anywhere at the moment.
Yep.
It's like hard work. So actually, if you look after the ones you've got and you make sure that they're, you know, good wages, good education, they're happy, good work-life balance, and doing that sort of stuff. I mean, it seems like real basics, but actually that saves you time and money further down the line, and actually can help then recruit further because those people share and they talk about it. Funny that people talk.
Crazy idea. Yeah. And
but so it's you then become an employer of choice, and once people realize like, what, that's sustainability? I'm like, yeah, people are sustainability. Like, it's kind of like once you start recognizing that there's more to it and it's a more holistic viewpoint, then you can find those wee sparks of passion, because every farm's different and every farmer is different. Their set of values is different. What floats their boat within the sustainability sphere is going to be different, and it's about how you allow them to express their true selves and, as you say, like to actually use their own core calling to actually show up in their sustainability journey.
We're talking to I'm doing a workshop in a couple of weeks, I think, or 10 days, I think it is 17th, sometime around there, and we've got Caroline Tayland, who is also in the group, and she was working as a consultant at Christchurch International Airport as a sustainability consultant, and she was sort of charged with trying to introduce the SDGs and kind of raise the levels of awareness around sustainability. And hopefully she might be listening into this at some point. She might be able to give us some tips and tricks or comments. But you know, that was a big thing that she talked about, how she got engagement, was meeting the employees where they were. So I think she was talking about how it was potentially like the engineering departments in the airport, and I think she even mentioned it might have been the fire teams at the airport who were kind of really resistant to this. All just sounds like green mumbo jumbo, like what do you like, I don't need to know this. But I remember her talking about how she sort of started to meet them and ask them, well, what do you like doing? Like, do you enjoy the outdoors? And they're like, well, yeah, I love going hunting and fishing, or I love getting into that. And she was like, okay, right, well, what we're trying to like, ultimately what we're trying to do is make sure that you have a pristine environment to go fishing in. And they're like, oh, right, oh, well, that, yeah, I'm all over that, like totally get that, right, okay. So you using these really shitty chemicals every day actually is contributing. And for me, I think that's one of the big, it's cognitive dissonance is kind of almost not quite the right word, but it's just lack of awareness of the impact that actually I might be contributing to the thing that I don't want to happen, but I just haven't made the connection for whatever reason. And I think, helping people, it's like, I mean, this is the work that we're all kind of in this space doing. It's like bringing people on a journey, but you got to meet them where they are and have a really great party that they want to come and play it. It sounds really simple, but it's not that simple.
Well, everyone's got to find meaning in their work, otherwise everyone's just ants building an anthill, right? Like,
yeah. Very cool. So the whole story is going really well. You've got your podcast. You're mainly interviewing rural type folk. Is there a theme to the podcast, or is it pretty wide ranging?
So the podcast, this series is pretty structured, and it's structured around the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So how many are we in now? Episode 4 launched this morning. So nice. We have one initial introductory episode where Bridget Williams is speaking about the Sustainable Development Goals and kind of providing that context, and we talk about that context in agriculture. And then each week I get a different guest on who highlights one of the specific goals and is working towards that space within the agricultural sector, whether they're a farmer or someone is supporting farmers or just the ag industry. But so highlighting a goal each week. And so if I do my maths, that'd be 18 episodes. I was going to say season 1 will have 18 episodes, 17 goals plus Bridget. Nailed it. Very cool. Oh, we'll put a link. What's it called? To give it for those if people aren't able to. It's called The Whole Story Podcast. Keep it pretty simple.
I like what you've done there.
Name of the business. And probably a big shout out here to FMG, because they've been awesome in supporting actually me bringing that out to the world, because without them it would have been a lot harder and wouldn't have been as good as it is. So
you were saying like so I need a sponsor for this podcast. Like there's got to be someone either in come on, one of my clients, like come on, or someone listening to this. Like so Becks, you were just saying beforehand, so FMG, if you're listening from outside of New Zealand, Farmers Mutual Group, they are a New Zealand rural insurance company at the core of what they do, but they are similarly like really involved in rural communities. They you know, they seem to be, and I guess, well, they're a mutual business, so is it customer owned business or supplier owned? I can't remember how their structure. Like, are you a customer of them? Does that mean you have ownership in it? Anyway, they're like a cooperative type.
But they're a mutual, so
they're a cooperative type business. So they've definitely got that sort of sense of contribution, and you know, we're here to do some good. And so we connected you with Emma from FMG, and I was like, well, if you don't ask, it's going to be a no. And you got sponsorship, and you were just saying before that you got a team of how many helping you with your podcast?
Oh gosh, I'm not even sure how many are in like maybe
hundreds of people.
10, like. And so, I have a team. The podcast has a team.
I don't like to talk about it, but seeing as you mentioned it, I do have a team.
And they're amazing, because there's a whole lot more to podcasting than I really thought or understood. And so they're helpful with it. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
But very, very cool.
So
just so supportive. So
nice.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So if anyone, you know, come on, there's got to be someone who'd want to sponsor my semi-regular smack chat talking to cool people. Just saying. I don't know. We'll work on something. And so B Corp. How did you come across B Corp, and why?
I must have come across B Corp. It probably would have been the same, and it was in the workshop that you did with Kath.
Yep.
And it's kind of in that formative stage where I was all about like finding out what my purpose was in the Ikigai process. And then I was like, B Corp, like it was another one of those, like, it's kind of like the second bus, or maybe the first bus, another bus. I've been hit by a few with the B Corp thing. And it's like, wow, that's awesome. I want to be on that journey. Like, I want to be one of those. Like, I don't know how to do it.
When I grow up, I want to be a B Corp.
Yeah, like I was like, I want to be a bee. So when I started the whole story, I knew nothing about starting a business. I just knew I wanted to do something with purpose, and I had this really cool idea. I have no idea how to do it. How shall I do it? Oh, hang on. There's these really cool group of businesses called B Corps that actually have an impact assessment that kind of assesses your business, but you can use that to structure a way that you build a business. So I actually built the whole story using the structure behind the impact assessment.
Nice.
And then had to wait a painfully long time to then go through the process myself. But like, it was always, the whole story was always designed to be a B. It just took time to be recognized as B. Yeah.
Yep. And we've got quite a few people that we've been hanging out with, within our sort of client group, who some were younger businesses than yours. So, you know, a lot of startups we're finding are interested in fact, we've had a conversation this week with another startup and a couple of others just recently, where they're kind of like, hey, can we use this as a framework? And it's like 100%, like, build the business. And, you know, because you can use the assessment to look at, okay, well, if we had 20 employees, what questions would be different? Because typically the more employees you've got, the depth of reporting and structure that you need around how you operate your business is just a bit more. So you can even use it as a bit of a strategic planning tool to go, okay, well, if we had 20 employees, if we had 1,000 employees, what sort of stuff do we need to be thinking about? And you can sort of have that on your roadmap. So yeah, it's definitely a really, really cool tool. And I guess you got a pretty decent score. You got a couple of impact business models. For those of you who don't know what an IBM is, you've obviously been living under a rock. So the B Corp assessment is split into two sort of parts, I guess. Basically, you've got your operational score, which is just doing our day-to-day running of the business. We do some good. And then an impact business model is essentially where you can prove that you're going out of your way to create more positive social or environmental impact than you are required to do as a business. And so you got the mission lock one, which everyone has to do. So you don't really get any shout out for that. I suppose you do, because you were probably one of the first actually to do that in New Zealand, to adopt that. So the mission lock is updating a constitution or creating a constitution if you're a small business that didn't have one. With a purpose clause and a stakeholder clause. So really bringing the idea of stakeholder capitalism to life. But you scored quite a few points. I think it was like 20 odd points on the impact business model under environment. And that's basically because of what you do, essentially, wasn't it? Because you're helping to educate people around environmental issues. So go.
Yeah, and it's quite cool when you look at my business model, because yeah, as you say, it's not just that the whole story has a positive impact and is doing good, but actually our mission is to go out and help a whole lot of other businesses do good too. So that's where you pick up, I guess, those impact business models. And yeah, the environmental one's pretty important to the work I do, obviously.
So it kind of made sense. Any big learnings from going through the B Corp journey? Was there stuff that you're kind of like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or oh wow, I had no idea that was a thing? Anything that kind of like sticks out for you?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I think a big one for me, which I don't know whether it's just from the sort of the B Corp journey or just the business startup journey, you know, full stop, is actually just the amount of, you know, documentation that you need to have and make sure you put in place. Yeah, and I think with the impact assessment, the biggest thing for me probably was like to record everything as you go. Like, so when you're working through it, make little notes in the comments section about, you know, what document or what you're referring to or what you're thinking of at the time, because there's so many different questions. You'll forget what you were thinking of at the time and go back
100%.
to it. I think keeping those little notes all the way through, and attach, if there's a document that supports it at the time you're going through, like attach it, because it'll save you so much more work further down the track to go back and retrospectively go back through all that. But yeah, it's really cool. Like, as you say, like I've now set the business up with a structure and the sort of level of support around it that allows it to grow now by using the impact assessment. And it's probably, if I just started up a business without that, I probably wouldn't be in the position I am now, where I've got all of that background policy and documentation and sort of even just the way of working that enables us to grow in a much more easier and more sustainable way.
Nice. Super cool. And so, yeah, what's the future hold? You're going to start something else? Because clearly being a mum, a farmer, a vet, having a business and a podcast. I mean, you've got a team on the podcast. That doesn't really count. Like, yes, what are you going to do on Fridays from now on? I mean, and skiing. Well, ski season's almost over. So yeah, but what are your plans? Are you obviously going to double down on the whole story? It's clearly doing some good stuff. You're enjoying it. Yeah, what's sort of the next bit for Becks?
Yeah, I am super loving the whole story. Like, the work just energizes me. So yeah, along with kind of the kids are kind of getting a bit older, and I'll have 2 at school soon. So hopefully a little bit more time to really sink my teeth into the whole story more. There's just about to start up some online workshops, trying to reach people remotely. I've got a lot of people who are engaged with the whole story from around the country. So trying to create some kind of flexi time workshops around that. Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the next step. And just really, you know, put a whole lot of passion and time and energy into those one-to-one farming clients that I've got, to make sure that they're smashing their goals. And hopefully podcast season 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got some good ideas and new plans for that one. So hopefully we can keep the podcast seasons rolling over, because yeah, I didn't anticipate that would be part of the business model when I started, but the opportunity to create impact is pretty epic through the podcast. So I really enjoy the process to get to speak to cool cats. Nice.
Yeah, you're going to be dangerous when your 2 kids go to school. It's like, that's going to free up a bit of extra time. Like, watch this space. There's going to be
watch out before your time when the 3rd one goes.
Yeah, it's like, woo! She could be a one-woman wrecking ball. Yeah. Oh, super cool. I think Jamie was tuning in the group, but he hasn't dropped any questions. He said he was in the car, so hopefully he's not driving and trying to live chat at the same time. So I don't know if Jamie's listening in, if you've got any questions before we sort of close up. But pretty much I think that's probably a good place to put a line under it. Yeah, I guess any words of wisdom or advice for other people out there going on the B Corp journey or in a business environment, you know, trying to, I think Jamie was our last live stream we did, and, you know, to reflect on him, I think you're quite similar, you know, sort of very family focused person. Jamie's, you know, his business partner is his wife and his dad, you know, in a business that kind of didn't really exist before. Like, you know, what you're doing is pretty niche. No one's really been doing it before. You've got a lot of other stuff going on. Like, yeah, what advice would you give to other people, you know, in the small business business for good, purpose-based, trying to change the world? Like, how do you do it?
I think if you're passionate about it, just do it, or just get started. Take small steps. I mean, the whole story was founded while I was working full-time as a vet, but it was founded at that space between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning. So you just carve out time for the things you're passionate about, but the rewards of doing something that fulfills you are so worth it. So I think, it seems hard at the start, but take that first step, because what it does to your soul and your level of happiness, which enables you to serve the world better, is worth it. And the world's missing out if you don't.
100%. If you don't do it, what doesn't get done? Yeah. And that sort of negative projectioning forward as to, well, if I didn't do that, what might happen? That's actually a really powerful tool to kick you in the ass and get you out of bed in the morning as well. Well, on that sage piece of advice, I reckon we'll end the live stream there. So yeah, thanks so much, Becks. That's been really cool to get to know you a bit more, understand a little bit more about what you're up to, and yeah, just all the awesome stuff you're doing. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll put links obviously everywhere so people can find you. But yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. No, thank you, Tim. It was wicked.
Catch you soon. Let me see if I can work out how to stop the live share. It's been a while since we've done that. There we go.